Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of 2022 in Review, our co-production here between Tinnitist TV and the Sonic Reducers with my pal, that Eric Alper, right over there. And now we are talking about some of the biggest music events, music stories, things that happened this year. Do you have anything that sticks in your mind, Eric?
I think, when I look back on this year, I think the biggest story that I've kind of had to deal with on a regular basis, on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, the fact that the music industry was one of the first things to get shut down during COVID, and certainly one of the last ones to reopen, and how everybody is dealing with it, depending on who you are. This was a very, very good year if you were Ed Sheeran, if you were Drake, if you were The Weeknd, if you were Taylor Swift in terms of touring. It was awful if you were primarily an independent artist that relied on the road,
Yeah.
and even worse if you relied on your merchandise. There's a lot of talk right now of independent artists not just struggling trying to get any attention to them when 120,000 songs are being uploaded on a daily basis. But certain venues across North America taking anywhere between 15 and 20% of the merchandise sales from the artist. And I know that there's a number of artists that are trying to change that, but I think that's the one of the biggest stories that kind of seemingly bled into almost everything else that I was interested in, was the rights of the artists, how artists are dealing with a global pandemic still, how they're dealing with their health, especially when it comes to mental health, what countries are doing great work with them, what countries have the ability to assist in terms of financial resources, but also with the mental health resources. So I think if it was like a Time Magazine Person of the Year for me, it would be the artists. They just ruled all of my reading and all my thinking this year.
Cool. I think tangential to that, one of the things that I was going to mention is the whole Ticketmaster, Taylor Swift, Bruce Springsteen, mayhem, meltdown, outrage over the dynamic pricing,
Yeah,
and I think I mean I think people have predicted the death of Ticketmaster off and on for
never
years,
gonna
but
happen.
no, it's never going to happen really. But I think honestly, pissing off the Swifties is probably one of the worst things they could do in terms of getting people to go after them, because here's the thing, all those politicians in America, they have sons and daughters who couldn't get Taylor Swift tickets, and
Yeah.
they'll be hearing about it, or they did hear about it, and they'll make Ticketmaster answer. So I don't know what'll happen with it, but I think it's about time somebody sort of kind of tackled that monopoly, because it is just kind of an insane monopoly.
I
The
think
other
I
thing
think it's not going to happen. I think
at all.
nothing. I think everybody is just grandstanding.
Yeah,
Everybody is just mad that they didn't get tickets.
sure.
Everybody doesn't realize that there's 4.5 million people in every single city that is trying to get the same tickets.
Yeah,
And dynamic pricing is something that, good or bad, we're all dealing with. If you want to try to get an airline ticket 24 hours before you want to go, it's going to be much higher. You know, I just bought a bag of lettuce for $11, at the supermarket. So I think, look, I'm not a Ticketmaster apologist,
no.
but I do believe that it's still the best system out there to try to handle the hundreds of thousands of shows a year. And I don't know, maybe because I'm older and I've seen everybody that I've almost wanted to see, but it's like, if it's
Yeah,
too expensive, like, the
don't go.
artist isn't going to leave money on the table ever, ever, ever again.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. Other things I think that kind of stuck out for me this year. Early on, they did the rap and hip hop Super Bowl halftime show, which kind of got a lot of attention with Dre and Eminem and Snoop and Kendrick and 50 Cent. That was kind of interesting. I think it was probably the first Super Bowl show I watched and could remember,
Everybody.
20 minutes later.
Yeah.
So I think Kate Bush had a great year,
Yeah.
thanks to running up
Are
that
you
hill.
are you surprised that Kate Bush, in terms of spillover, it doesn't seem like her other songs are doing
No, it
well,
was yeah, no, it was
thanks to
lightning
it.
in a
It was
bottle.
just that one. It was just running up the hill. You would figure that, well, people would be getting into her woman's work or buying more Kate Bush merchandise or having her albums go through the roof. It wasn't, and I adore Kate Bush, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. It was just focused on that one song, which was astonishing, really.
Yeah, but I think that that too is reflective of the world we live in the sense of it was this little, trend boomlet thing for a week or two, and that doesn't really inspire anybody to go dig deeper. They just enjoy that, and then the next superficial thing comes along, and they
Yeah.
skim across the surface of that. I mean, Metallica's Master of Puppets got a similar kind of bump, and now from what is it, Wednesday, the Cramps Goo Goo Muck. Everyone's
Yeah.
kind of
From
talking about that one. You
yeah.
know,
Thanks to Wednesday. Yeah.
yeah, except they didn't write that, so they're not getting much out of that. The guy who wrote it's getting a nice lottery win, but
Yeah.
um, the Elvis movie I think was kind of a tangential.
I loved it. I loved every moment of it. I don't care what anybody said. Bring on that 6 hour version of it, Baz. Let's go. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I could have watched it twice.
Oh yeah, well you know what you're in for with Baz Luhrmann though. Everything he does is an explosion of a glitter bomb.
Right.
But that's okay. That's what he's all about. The other thing, I guess, well, the death of Taylor Hawkins was kind of, I think, event-wise, we talked about it in the deaths segment we did too, but I think it kind of overshadowed a lot this year and made such a huge impact that you talked about, the outpouring of love and the two concerts, kind of was, I think when 2022 is all written down, that'll be one of the things people remember
Yeah,
out of it.
absolutely. For sure.
All right. Well, that's our year in review. I'm sure you have some things to add. And if so, start up your own channel and put your own video. That's it for us. Thanks for watching.